Good evening, everyone. Let the April 2021 Brookhaven Borough Workshop meeting come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
the
of
United
the United States of America,
and to the
and to the
republic
republic for which it stands,
one nation,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. Mr. Will, would you give us a roll call, please?
Yes, sir. Mr. Heller,
Present.
Mrs. Fuchs,
Present.
Mrs. Heller,
Present.
Mayor Leslie's out, Mr. Vasquez is out, Ms. Sawicki,
Present.
Mr. Pappas,
Present.
Mr. Gilroy, he's out.
Present.
too.
Present.
Oh, he's out. Okay, he's here.
He's here.
Mr. Wills,
Present.
Mr. Catania.
Here.
Okay, Mr. Woodward's here. Is Joan on?
Mrs. Boyle is on.
Oh, I got Joan. Chief Montella,
Present.
Chief Zebley. No Chief Zebley.
He's not
That's,
required for the workshop. He's only required for the
Okay.
monthly
All right.
meeting.
Okay, that's it for roll call.
Thank you, sir. That leads us into the first public discussion session. Is there anyone that would like to speak? for
Yeah.
public Discussion. Please unmute yourself if you'd like to speak. Public discussion going once, going twice. First public discussion session is closed. Mr. Wills, will you give us the solicitor's report, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, everyone. A copy of my solicitor's report was forwarded to Borough Hall this morning, and I had also forwarded it to all members of council and the mayor as well. Just some brief highlights with regard to Arbor Developers. That is our two-lot subdivision over on Zor Street. I have forwarded a developer's agreement and a municipal public improvement security agreement to the developer, and we're waiting for him to execute those documents. The developer has also recently forwarded to my attention a request to waive a sewer tie-in fee for these proposed single-family dwellings to be constructed. That will be something for Borough Council's consideration next Monday evening. I will forward to Borough Council a copy of the written request by the developer and provide a copy of my written recommendation regarding that particular request. Second item on my agenda, just a brief general observation on the proposed contract with the FOP. As of last week, I had drafted and prepared a revised counter proposal for the FOP's consideration. We are waiting at this time for a formal response from the FOP on the borough's most recent counter proposal, and I hope to have that perhaps later this week. Next item on my agenda concerns Brookhaven Storage. Of course, a new developer has recently filed a revised land development plan for this particular property. They're proposing, again, a self-storage facility on approximately 2.4 acres of undeveloped land on the south side of Brookhaven Road. The zoning hearing board met on April the 13th, earlier this month, because the developer required multiple variances. I also appeared at that hearing in conjunction with the zoning officer because the developer had appealed the zoning officer's initial determination regarding some zoning issues affecting this particular land development application. As a result of the zoning hearing board, the board meeting earlier this month, the board did in fact grant a variance to permit a self-storage facility in an R-4 residential zoning district, and also permitted some relief with regard to the required landscape buffer. However, the zoning hearing board did in fact deny the request of the developer to permit a 3-story building in excess of 35 feet. It's my understanding the developer, in conjunction with that most recent zoning hearing board decision, will now be filing some revised developmental plans. Hopefully that will be in conformity with the height limits of the zoning district. And so the developer has requested a 90-day extension from Borough Council regarding the time requirements for the borough to take action on this particular land development application. That request will be before Borough Council next Monday. It would be my recommendation that we grant that particular request, give the developer an additional 90 days so that he can submit revised plans that are hopefully in conformity with the most recent zoning hearing board decision rendered earlier this month. Next item on my agenda concerned the Popeyes land development application. This is the developer that wishes to redevelop the former TD Bank building at 4236 Edgemont Avenue. The developer is going to be required to obtain conditional use approval from Borough Council to permit a fast food restaurant with a drive-through window. I suspect Borough Council will hold a public hearing on that conditional use application, either the end of May or early June. And we will work out a date that is convenient for all of Borough Council for that particular public meeting. The Planning Commission will be scheduled to review the land development plan and the application for conditional use at its next meeting on May 18th of 2021. I will be at that Planning Commission meeting as well as a representative from Mr. Catania's office. Finally, the residences of Brookhaven Glen, of course, is another land development plan that is our 55 and over community off of Edgemont Avenue and Radio Lane. I suspect we will have another request for a partial release of escrow for the completion of certain public improvements that is currently under review by the borough engineer, and I suspect the engineer will be providing my office with a recommended amount as to how much of that escrow release to be considered for Borough Council at its meeting next Monday evening. Other than that, Mr. President, I can report general progress.
Thank you, sir. The mayor is not present tonight. Chief Montello.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll have my report for the next council meeting, but I just want to reach out to you guys at council and you, Mr. President, for that fine job with getting the people and the residents of Brookhaven Borough vaccinated. Hearing a lot of good feedback on the street from the residents and about stepping up and getting this done because people are really struggling hard with getting places to get the shots. Multiple seniors have said to me they've been to 10 different websites just waiting. So just kudos to you guys for stepping up and partnering up with Giant and all the volunteers that helped get that done. But that's a great thing for the borough and appreciate what you guys did for that.
Giant did a fantastic job. Second doses are this week, Thursday, Saturday, and next Tuesday, I should say. So this week and next. Thank you for the kind words. They did a great job.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Chief Zebley is not here tonight. Brings us to the council reports. Mrs. Heller.
Just two quick things. The first one is I just want to thank our administrative staff. Last week we had a administrative professional week. So I just want to thank our administrative staff for all that they do behind the scenes and keeps our borough going. So thank you for them. Second, I'm sorry, I had three things. Second, the rec board is meeting this Thursday, the 29th at 7 o'clock. So anyone that's interested in attending, please come up. I believe we are meeting in the community room again in person. Obviously, masks are required, social distancing and all that fun stuff. And lastly, the fire committee has approved the cameras to upgrade the cameras at the fire department. So we're going to move forward with installing the new cameras and upgrading that system. So that work will begin this week. And that's the end of my report for right now.
Thank you, Mrs. Heller. Mr. Vasquez is absent. Ms. Sawicki.
Yes, thank you. I have no report tonight, but I will have one next week. Thank you.
Mr. Pappas.
I do not have a report also, Mr. President.
You guys must have somewhere to go tonight. Mrs. Fuchs, you're gonna have to filibuster for us. Come on.
Don't worry, I do have a report, unfortunately. So the ordinance committee met on Thursday, the 15th, to discuss the food truck fees, our current trash ordinance, and what we can do to help our new code enforcer, whoever that may be. Our next meeting will be on May 20th in person in the council room. So this month has been very busy with electronics and shredding events. The electronics recycling event was held on April 10th and was extremely busy and successful. I'm still waiting on the total tonnage amounts, but from what I understand, it was the busiest we've ever had with electronics, probably because we didn't have anything last year. This past Saturday was our shred event, and we had 160 people drop off shredding, and it amounted to 6,580 pounds of paper. So that again was another big event. So I would like to take a minute to thank the volunteers who made both events very successful. Lynn McMonagle, John Wilward, Charles Allen, Harry, Denise, Sherry, and Bill Kraft. So thank you all very much. Let's see, council is working on an electronic newsletter. It'll be a summer edition that would be available on our website and social media pages. And for those who can't access electronically, we will have copies in the borough office. The newsletter will hopefully be published by the end of June. John Wilward's going to work with me on that. The Providence Animal Center Vaccine and Chip Clinic will be rescheduled to September 7th. We can't have it in May because of the election day. So that will be rescheduled to September 7th. And I just found out today that I don't know if anybody knows that there's a new law that's in place now, and it's called Move Over and Slow Down. And this law is, from what I understand, is if you're driving on 95 and you see a police officer that has someone pulled over, you are required to get in the next lane. You're not allowed to go past them and alongside of them. If you can't do that, you have to slow down to, I believe, 25 miles an hour. And if you don't do that, you can get a fine up to $500. So this law is, I believe it's today, is the first day that's in effect. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. And that is all my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilroy.
Mr. President, I do not have a report tonight.
Thank you, sir. I have a few things. I have to announce an executive session for tomorrow night, April 27th, 7 o'clock p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. The purpose is interviews for the code enforcement officer position. A reminder about the car show that will be co-hosted by the Hometown Hero Banner Project / Veterans Committee and run by the Delco Cruisers. That is Saturday, 5/29, 10 to 2, with a rain date of Sunday, 5/30, 10 to 2. As I said earlier, the vaccine clinic for the second doses will be held this Thursday, this Saturday, and next Tuesday. Once again, thank you to Giant for taking the lead on that, getting that done for us. The banners for the fourth and final round are in. We're looking at an install of possibly the third week of May. Our bucket truck was delayed till August, so we will be renting a bucket truck to get the install done and to catch up on some of the down banners that we have. And we are going back to in-person meetings, at least for the time being. We'll see how that goes starting with next Monday's council meeting. And I believe, Jay, help me out here. What is our capacity? 25 total individuals in the council chamber, right? We're at 25%.
That is my understanding, yes.
Okay.
I know in New Jersey today, the governor announced some restrictions with regard to both indoor and outdoor vendors, but I don't believe Governor Wolf has made any extensions beyond the 25% capacity limit for indoor events.
Okay. So what we'll do is, I think we have 12 or 13 officials with council and the appointed officials. So we're going to have Harry working the door to meter people in. And if we reach capacity and someone from the public would like to speak, we can have one of the officials leave the room and Harry can allow the public in. That way, anyone that chooses to speak or wishes to speak at the public sessions will be able to do so. And one more thing, the grant is in. Thank you to Mr. Gilroy and Mr. Catania for the proposed multi-purpose sport facility. I believe we're going to have an answer on that in September, Charles, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, usually in the September, October timeframe.
Okay, thank you, sir. That is all I have for now. I'll have a full report at next Monday's council meeting. See you guys in person. It'll be good to be back in person. Mr. Catania, give us the engineer's report, please.
All right, for the regular meeting, I'll have some things for consideration. At the sewage treatment plant, we had budgeted to replace the mechanical screen, or install a new mechanical screen to try to help, or not try to help, to resolve the continuous problem we're having with pumps clogging. We received a proposal or quote from Rorden Materials through the CoStars program for $91,500. So I'll have that for consideration. The 2021 street resurfacing program, we opened bids for that through that Penn Bid online system, and we're going to ask for recommend award to AF Damon Company in a low bid amount of $195,633.55. 414 Edwards Drive. There was a sinkhole behind the curb near a storm sewer inlet. Public Works has placed stone in there. I'm going to ask for authorization to have that repaired properly. Sampson Park drainage. This is not on my report. These are 3 additional things from my written report. Sampson Park drainage. I had met with Dave Evans on site, and there's some ponding between the courts and the ball field he was looking to address. What we're hoping to do is to take some materials that we had left over from the Shepherd Street project and install a drain and pipe that to the basin in the back. So Dave can do that, and it should be with the materials we had left over. So it should be no cost to us to have that done. I guess Dave's looking for authorization to do that.
Sure, it's been that way for years. I don't have a problem with it.
Going back to the sewage treatment plant, I got this call like 20 after 5 today. One of the tanks has a mixer in it, and that honestly, that's what it does. It just mixes the liquid that's in the tank to keep it homogeneous. It died, so we need to replace that. They're waiting to get quotes, estimate between $5,000 and $7,000 for that. And then the final thing I have, and Jay, I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but we received that request from Arbor Developers on Zor Street to waive one of the sewer fees.
Yes.
And I don't know if we hold that now or what you want to do with that.
That'll be subject to a vote next Monday evening, Charles. I will forward the written request to council probably tomorrow with a written recommendation.
Okay, and that'll be under your report. You'll handle that.
That'll be fine.
All right, thank you. I think that's all I have.
Thank you, Charles. Mr. Leslie, the fire marshal's report.
I'll have an extensive report at the council meeting, but I would like to say my phone's been ringing about these fire pits, the burn barrels, chimeneas. They got to be covered. You can't have trash, burning trash, and don't leave them unattended. That's all. Other than that, I'll give an extensive report next meeting.
Alrighty, thank you. Brings us into the second public discussion session. Is there anyone for public discussion? Please unmute yourself if you wish to speak.
Charles Leslie, 703 Cambridge. Just want to throw this out there to the Little Leaguers, JR and his crew. The fields look really good up there. The softball fields all look good. And the field over on Coburn Boulevard look tremendous. They're all volunteers to take care of those fields, just so everybody knows. And they all look good. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Anyone else for public discussion?
Of course, who else? Tom Dykes, 305 West Brookhaven Road. It wouldn't be a meeting without me.
Good evening, Mr. Dyke.
Good evening. Just as a reminder, along with Sherry and Donna, we are having a rec board meeting this Thursday. We're going over some of the upcoming events. The next big event will be the concert in the park on the Saturday of Father's Day weekend. And we do have a Brookhaven band who is going to be doing that. And Donna, should we give the name out? You think so?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, the band name is LSD, the band. It's their last names. It's their last names. I'm sorry for doing that. The rec board did have a very small family day meeting 2 weeks ago. Just going over some preliminaries with that, and we're getting a letter together to go out for fundraising for Family Day and for the concert series. So anyone who'd be interested in helping out with Family Day or helping out the rec board, please, please, please join us. And then I have a question, a personal question. The 315 property on Brookhaven Road, there's that, I know they came out to check property lines and things like that. What was what ended up being the status of that as far as, because there's a good 15, 20-foot space where the grass is not being mowed?
Anyone?
Yeah, the developer had that surveyed and set the property line, which is their property. We met with Bob Grant out there, I want to say Thursday or Friday of last week, and two of the property owners there. And we indicated that we would have an answer for them this week, or at least try to have an answer for them this week as to the disposition of that strip of ground between what they deem as the developer's property and what is the properties at 414, and I guess it's the other property on Brookhaven Road.
Right. I mean, it's just the property that's in there, I guess my thing is the back part of it is part of the lot that's supposed to be part of the park. So if they're going to say the property line gets moved over, we're losing park area. I didn't know whether the developer was trying to say that strip of land from Edwards Drive to Brookhaven Road was part of that park area or not. It just seems odd.
All right, we'll get an answer. We'll have an answer for you.
Okay. Just trying to make sure the borough keeps looking nice, because right now it's getting a little unruly on that section.
How large a section is it?
It's about 15, 20 feet from Brookhaven Road all the way back to Edwards Drive.
What's it, about 80 feet?
More than that, it's the length of 2 yards.
Is it? All right, well, maybe we can have Public Works run over it with a lawnmower in the meantime.
So that's all I had.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else for public discussion? Going once, going twice. The second public discussion session is closed. I neglected to announce that we do have an exec session immediately after this meeting, and the topic will be a proposal by the county for the use of a portion of the Brookhaven Municipal Center from July until December of this year. And with that, unless there's anything else from council or the officials, anyone have anything to add? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good evening, everyone. See you next week in person. Thank you.
Evening.
Good night.